beers.
Okay, I'm Lee from the Oshkosh Beer Blog, and I'm with Mike Schlosser and Shawn of the HighHolder Brewing Company of Oshkosh. So, June 28th, I got a text, and attached to that text was a picture of four obviously very happy people, and they're holding a piece of paper, and the piece of paper was the federal brewer's permit for HighHolder Brewing Company. So you guys are official now.
Yeah, we're actually a legitimate brewing company.
This is it, the real thing. Okay, and so I have to ask you a question that I've been asked probably like a dozen times, if not more, since I shared that picture with people. When does HighHolder open?
Well, technically, we're open.
Now.
We're open for business. Brewing this week?
This week.
Next
So
week.
depends on our schedules.
So the first week of August, you will be actually
We should have
brewing beer.
Yeah, we'll be brewing beer next week, probably pouring it off September-ish.
September-ish. So the first beers for HighHolder will go on tap in September.
Yep.
Okay, and they'll go on tap where?
Omaro's Public House.
You'll have it on tap here.
Will be nice.
So what are you guys planning on starting with?
Well, we'll probably do a release party that's going to be kind of a private thing to celebrate first.
You'll
And
probably
then,
be invited.
Yeah, yeah. Friends, family,
I'll
people that
crash
helped
it
us
now.
out.
Friends, family, Lee.
So we'll probably have three, maybe four beers on tap for that, and then after that we'll move on from there. But that'll probably be an oat beer, a Kolsch. The girls want us to do the Screamsicle.
Yeah.
Screamsicle, there you go.
So we have to do that. They also want us to do the raspberry wheat, and both of those were award-winning beers.
Winter, nut kicker.
But then we're turning right over to fall and winter.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
okay.
it'll be a limited run, and then we're just going right into Oktoberfest, Helles,
Nice.
stouts.
Excellent, excellent. So we should say where we are. What's the actual address of this, Shawn?
2211 T2. Oregon.
T2 on Oregon Street, not
Correct.
Wisconsin. And I mean, physically, you're directly behind Omaro's Public House.
Correct,
The
yes.
brew house is back here.
Behind the banquet hall side.
Yeah.
Because that's a separate suite.
Right. So you guys, I mean, the first time we talked about this for another publication thing was 2 years ago. You guys went through some name changes. You guys went through some lawyers. You guys went through a lot to get to this point.
Yeah, name change. Originally, we were supposed to be Sawdust City Brewing, but there is a brewery in Canada that was actually started after we had registered our name and were brewing for about a year or and a half, 2
Yeah.
years. And when they kind of contacted us, talked to the said lawyer, and he said it would take too much to try to save the name. It cost you more than it was worth.
Yeah.
Litigation hell.
Yeah, so we did,
Fuck that.
we're self-funded, so we didn't want to put money into that, so we decided to change the name.
And that wasn't the only hurdle you guys had to go over.
That was just one small. That was really not even that bad.
That was
We
just a
could
name
change
change, the LLC. That wasn't that big of a deal, but
Inept lawyers were probably the
Just-
other problem.
Surprising.
Surprising.
just fire them all. We took our lumps, but
Yeah.
we did it ourselves. So
It's cool.
we kind of like it better that way.
Yeah,
it was
right.
it was a year and a half of working with a lawyer, setting up paperwork, doing all that. Them not doing what they were supposed to do, and once we fired everyone else, it took us 3 months.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
It took us 6 months to clean up the mess from the lawyers to figure out, because they said they left it, and once what they did, they had done so much, but they really didn't do it, so we had to clean all that up. It took us about 6 months to figure that out.
Yeah, we were abandoned once and everything
Yeah.
with TTV.
Yeah.
So that's always a fun thing when your application's been
It's
abandoned.
lost, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, and all this came about really because of you guys wanted to have a brewing company.
a brewery company, it's other than a brew pub.
Yes.
Other than a brew pub, and then your association with the bar, so with Omaro, so you're having to
Right.
cleave
So
those two.
it's actually Mike and Brandy are the partners in the brewery.
Why the hell are you here? We could have
I don't know.
Brandy who's much better looking than you are, too.
She is.
But finally, I mean, you guys,
Technically, he's not even a board member.
I'm not even. Yeah, I don't even get to be at the meeting.
he's just a guy sitting around in a brewery drinking beer.
Hey guys, what are we doing?
Yeah. But you finally got it all together, and you've been home brewing, Mike, for like over 25 years at this point.
Yes.
You've been running a model since 2004.
Yeah.
I mean, why did you want to have a brewery?
Well, we started this idea like 10 years ago, probably.
We did.
And we had a Sabco system back here, actually right in that corner.
Yeah.
And just totally naive at that
We were a little
time.
nuttier at that time.
Yeah.
Focus. We had better focus.
We set up a Sabco system in here. It's all gas fired, no fire suppression, no ventilation for, CO. No,
It was great.
and then one of us was like, well, man, I don't think we can do this.
But as far as owning the pub, at that point we had the pub for 10 years or whatever it was, 5-6 years, and that was kind of the next logical step. We've sold everyone else's beer. We know about it. We've done it all. Now it just seemed like the next logical way to go to expand more. Otherwise, you're a pub.
Oh yeah, we talked about it and we thought, hey, let's expand this. Wouldn't it be cool if we saw our own beer on tap?
Yeah. Well, and okay, so then once the beer starts flowing out, you'll always have the beer here on tap at Omaro's.
Correct. Yep.
Okay. And how many tap lines are you going to dedicate?
Three to four. Three to start.
Three to start.
4 a floater in there that gets changed out.
Okay. And then, but you'll also sell beer in kegs.
Correct.
To other venues around town.
Yep.
So other bars in Oshkosh that have craft beer. Do you plan on going beyond Oshkosh or just staying right here?
Not at this size.
No.
Yeah, it's our margin. There is no margin when we're selling to a bar. So if we sell a half barrel of beer for XYZ, our margin is so small on that it barely covers production costs. So
I think that what we're trying to do is proof of concept. Get the first couple of year or two under your belt. Make sure people like the beer. So they don't like it here, they're not going to like it anywhere else. And at that point, then we decide.
Then we blow up a little
Do we
bit.
blow up? Do we get investors? Do we move? Do we?
Well, that's part of it. So while you guys were going through that whole legal, rigmarole, you were building the system.
Yep.
So that system, let's talk about that.
So we got a 1 barrel system. Consisting of, it's a HERMS based system. So what that stands for is a heat exchange recirculated mash system. We do back-to-back batches to make basically fill up 2 fermenters at a time, and start off with our hot liquor tank, our mash, where our grain goes, our boil, chill, and move it over to our fermenters. The big one is the uni tank. It has the ability to carbonate as well as ferment. Down here we have our carbonation port, where CO2 gas goes in. Sample port, very important. This is basically going to be tax determination in bright tank. We'll keg them directly off of this bad boy. But the other ones, half barrel a piece and all glycol. It's actually a pretty sweet system for what we got into it for right now. This will all change basically in volume. We're going to stick with SS Brewtech because I had a good relationship with them out of California. And actually in future talks, we just started kind of brushing up against the idea of expansion already. So
What do we do? Yeah.
Once we get up and rolling, by next year we'll be talking about expansion. So these are just starters, and then it will turn into a pilot system after that.
Okay. And you'll be brewing like how often to keep the beer flowing?
Probably 3 times a week.
3 times a week.
I'm guessing. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it depends on how fast it goes. Obviously, it turns over, but with 3 barrels worth of fermenters and a 1 barrel system doing back-to-back batches, it'll be 3 times a week. That doesn't include all the cleaning and keg washing and all that BS.
Oh, is that what I'm for? I'm the cleaner.
So, employee number 1.
Well, the beauty about that is, especially if the whole idea is proof of concept, it gives you so much versatility. You're not trapped to 15 barrels of beer every time you brew.
Well, no, and we're not trapped by an investor or any shareholders or any bank or anything like that.
There's no pressure. No, none of that.
If we don't want to, we won't. If we're going to go on vacation, nothing happens.
It's kind of like the whole process of getting the brewery running. If we were sitting on $100,000 worth of equipment, we would have wanted it,
Yeah, we would be living in a cardboard box. You know, and I'd have been begging for change at EAA, not standing
You still do that now. What are you talking about?
dollars, not change.
Whatever you gotta do, you know.
This guy.
So what are I kind of want to like get into like the sort of beers you want to brew. Like, what do you have like an idea of like?
Well, we're gonna do traditional beers. We're gonna do a like, more modern take on traditional beers, but we're not gonna go with, you know, some Soriachi Ace Mosaic flavored sweet potato beer or some crap like that.
You know, the Bergenstock.
No, right.
So we'll probably stick. Well, we are gonna stick with more traditional styles.
And not super hoppy, you know.
Yeah,
Trying to
maltier German ales and lagers. You know, that's kind of my preference anyway.
Yeah.
But
hence the HighHolders, so that's
right. And, whatever sells, but I got to be able to feel good about brewing it too.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm
not a hophead, so
and you spend a lot of time at Omaro's.
I've been here once or twice.
So how much of this like is a reflection of the people?
Long time listener, first time caller.
Yeah, bullshit. I don't think I've come in here when you're not here. But how much of that is a reflection of what goes on at Omaro's and what the customers here tend to drink? Is that?
I don't think it
No.
has much to do with it.
No, because they're all over the place up there. You know, as far as the beers that we have, I have tons of triple hop, West Coast IPAs. I have all that stuff.
Okay.
People drink it, but we want to go in a different direction.
Yeah.
Cool. So I want to talk a little bit about the name HighHolder. I mean, you guys started off with the other name, and you went to HighHolder, which I think is actually HighHolder's a better name.
Well, we do too, and actually
It was probably a good thing that happened.
Yeah, neither
Everything
one of
happens
us were
for a
really enamored with the Sawdust City Brewing Company name. We thought, yeah, this works, and this is way before this was called the Sawdust District. All of a sudden, magically, that popped up, but. We just said
Onward.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And the HighHolder name, you know, it was something that I was researching Southside history, and we tossed around that for a little bit, and it started working out for us a little. The more we kept talking about it, the more we said, yeah, let's go with it.
Well, the HighHolders were a group of Bavarians and Bohemians that came here in the latter half of the 1800s, settled on the south side of Oshkosh. And they were really instrumental in creating the beer and brewing culture on the south side.
Correct.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, you know, by taking that name, you guys are really kind of planting your flag in the south side.
Yeah, we made this brewing company in the South Side. I live right. I'm not a HighHolder, by the way. You know, so let's get that cleared up right away.
I have HighHolders.
I think you are now.
Yeah, there are some people that are really. I'm an original HighHolder, and I'm
okay.
I live in the district.
You don't carry the card.
I don't carry the card. No. But we came up with that name, and then we were like, yeah, that's a name that was very had a unique history. Whether it was slang, and then all of a sudden, you know, after World War II, it turned into more of a pride thing, and then it disappeared for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So
bring it back.
We brought it back.
Very cool. Very cool. I think it's a really fitting name for. I mean, I've known you guys for a while. The way this has all kind of come up, and I think it's cool. It's cool. So, congratulations.
Hey.
I mean, this has been a long time coming. It's great to see you guys are here.
Cheers.
Cheers.